Hi, my name is Martin Etoy. I'm from Golf Stats Coach, and today I'm joined by Thabiso Ngcobo, who plays on IGT as well as the Sunshine Tour, and Coach Kyle Phelan. We're going to talk about how you can utilize golf stats to help your golf game. So, Coach Kyle, why do you use golf stats with your students?
I mean, short and sweet, Martin. Unfortunately, if you're not looking at the small games with these top players, you're always going to be behind in the modern world.
Yeah, exactly. And Thabiso, how's your experience when you interact with your coach via golf stats? I know you fill in through a golf stats coach kind of after a round, I assume, and then it feeds through to your coach. And how do you experience that whole process?
So I think it's great feedback to have in a player-coach relationship, as well as I think my coach gets a better understanding of my round every time I play. Because it's one thing to explain your round, but there's days where you could feel like you were putting well, and then you look at the stats and it actually shows you weren't actually putting well. So it's a very great device to use.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point you make there. And I also played on tour for a long time, and the wrong ideas I had about my own game was just quite enormous. And we actually find this with even guys that play on the highest level. I mean, you're on a high level golfer already, but all the way to the European Tour, they have very poor sort of idea of what is actually the area they need to focus on, right? Which is the whole aim of Golf Stats Coach, is to pin down the areas you need to work on to actually improve your game. So that's a great comment there. I'm going to throw your stats up on screen here, Thabiso.
Okay.
And I can see you had a great round here at the IGT services. What's your lowest competitive round?
My lowest competitive round is 64.
Okay, so you got close here.
Yeah.
67. And so how I would look at it, I'll kind of give you my opinion or a viewpoint of what I see in your stats. And so I always like to look at it is obviously a great score. And then just look at the basic factors here, right? You can see awesome day driving, you hit the ball long off the tee and straight. So that's a great day driving. Versus your benchmark, which is tour player, you gain 2.92 shots with the driver. Good day on the approach play, good day short game, putting not your best. Not a poor day. I mean, only losing 0.13 versus tour player, but out of those four areas, that's where you lost a few shots, right? And so
Yes.
that's a pretty good sign if you want to make money playing golf. If you can drive it and hit approach shots, putting tends to fluctuate, right? Up and down. And if you can make a 67, not putting, great stuff. So then the other thing, Thabiso, I like to look at is if you scroll down to the bottom here, what if? Basically means what would I have shot if my 5 worst shots of the day was just sort of average shots? Not great shots, just average. And you only would have gone 2 shots better, okay? So that tells me you never hit any loose shots on the day. That's really good. Normally we see 5 or even more shots difference, right? Because the worst shots of the day, not very good. So that's really solid golf. And if we go to your scorecard, it'll probably reflect. Here you can see no bogeys. I mean, if you don't hit any bad shots, you're not going to make bogeys, right? So pretty tidy. You had it going there on the front. So tell us a bit about your mindset there. Then you made 4 birdies in 5 holes. Are you able to stay present, or do you kind of chase ahead of it?
I think the most important thing is to always stay present. You can never really predict how the future is going to be. You can only predict what's going to happen now. So I just stuck to my process and just made a good birdie on 14, and then from 16 onwards, it was just basically fairway green and make the putt, and then the next thing 17, and then 18 was playing quite short, so it was just a simple routine 2-putt birdie.
Cool. And then one more on the back for a great round. Okay, awesome. Really good. Okay, so I think let's take a look at your kind of play over time, right? And here is, how many rounds is this? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 15 rounds of golf or so.
Yeah.
Quite a consistent guy. I mean, what is your average score? Let me get to overview. 72.57, super consistent golf. Geez, you only really had one round. You know, it's kind
Yeah,
of
it's
the
quite hard.
outlier, 82. For the rest, unbelievably consistent. And if we look at your game over time, I mean, here's kind of the average stroke gain numbers per round, you know, over time. So driving, is that your strength? Is that fair to say? Drive it well?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Short game, also pretty solid. Approach shots, that can get better. You know, this is the one thing that really differentiates guys on the top end. If you start tracking this on European and PGA Tour almost weekly now, that's where the guys separate themselves, is an approach play. So, and that's also where Tiger, you know, when he beat up on the guys for 10 plus years, he led the tour in this thing every single year. So that's certainly an area you can improve a little on, right? And
Yeah,
then, but here's the one that really stands out, putting. You lose 1.61 shots per round. And here's the interesting thing. If you look at your putting, you're great inside 6 feet, very solid. And then once you get to 7 feet, red numbers. In other words, you gain here and you lose shots here. Okay, so if we then go to, let's go to your putting page. And if we zoom in, let's go from 7 feet kind of to 15 feet. Like, how would you say that's the area that really matters in putting? It's where you have an opportunity to make some putts.
Yeah, exactly. You'll gain the most or quite a lot on that point.
Exactly. And so if we look at your skill from that range, you can see left to right putts. You have 3.5 per round in that distance range, 4.6 right to lefters. You can see right to left putts, you're quite a bit worse in skill level than left to right putts.
Yeah.
Okay. And if we go down here, which is interesting for me, and these are 7 to 15 foot putts, what stands out for me here is the fact that you have putts short of the hole. You know, from that range, you don't really want to see this because there's 1.5 putts on left to right who's never reached the hole. They got zero chance to actually go in.
And yeah.
Straight putt, you actually had one short. You didn't have a lot of straight putts. And then on right to left, you can see you miss it on the low side and short. Now, this one, probably if you hit it harder, had a chance to go in. This one had a chance to go in. So this really stands out to me. So, you know, distance control, you can clearly start the ball online because you make a lot of putts inside 6 feet. Controlling the speed, not so great, especially on this range where it's kind of the range where you have a chance to make it. You don't want to lose putt short, right? So,
yeah.
So Carl, what, you know, I know you guys have spotted this one out already. So what's your kind of strategy, or how do you think about this? What do you guys do to rectify this?
Yeah, so Martin, was actually interesting. So when we had a look at, so I got a Biomech cutting aid, and what we saw with that was the tempo was completely out. So the interesting part was that when the tempo went out, his stroke went completely out. We had this movement that started short back, tried to get acceleration on the way through, and the putter actually moved to the right, opening the club face a lot. So his tendency was to aim further left for the left to righters, and then he wouldn't aim enough for the right to lefters. So hence probably the gain, almost like a pure athleticism that got him making more putts left to right.
Gotcha.
So can I share my screen to show you the drill we've been doing to his profile over here, which we keep all his information up to date. You'll see that we've put out a drill here. I've put out to make sure that he is hitting consistent backswing length, so that all he has to do is get the tempo correct in order to get the ball to reach the target. So what we've done here is the first one you put out is a 3 meter tee over there, then you got a 6 meter and a 9 meter out of that point. So first thing, I have a look at him, he putts to that 3 meter tee, and I get a general idea of how far his backswing's going, and then I put in that first yellow tee that's over there. Then from that point over there, I take a putter head and I put it about a putter head back for the next tee and a putter head back for the tee after that. And that indicates the 6 and 9 meter distances. So what he has to do is practice reaching a certain length in the backswing and get the ball traveling a certain distance to try get the tempo the exact same every time. So this was actually after a while of doing it, and you'll see that his putter doesn't move as far to the right as the previous one. So if I actually go back to his one couple before that, look how far right his putter actually moved after impact. So the pace became inconsistent, the strike became inconsistent. He did that for about 5-10 minutes and he was able to get the stroke back on track.
Awesome. So basically his issue was backswing too short and that caused the problem. So kind of getting a visual aid to give you a sense for how big you need to swing back helps you.
Exactly.
Awesome. Great stuff. Okay, Thabiso, all the best for your life on tour. We'll be watching you. And Kyle Phelan, thanks a lot. And if you want to reach Coach Kyle Phelan, you can go to golfcoachapp.com, download the app, and enter his coach code when you register an account. It's Phelan Golf, and you'll be connected to him inside Golf Coach app, and you can benefit from his coaching no matter where you are located in the world. Thanks a lot, guys.